Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Lesson 16. I have no neutral thoughts. The idea for today is a beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts have no effect. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. There is no exception to this fact. Thoughts are not big or little, powerful or weak. They are merely true or false. Those that are true create their own likeness. Those that are false make theirs. There is no more self-contradictory concept than that of idle thoughts. What gives rise to the perception of a whole world can hardly be called idle. Every thought you have contributes to truth or to illusion. Either it extends the truth or it multiplies illusions. You can indeed multiply nothing, but you will not extend it by doing so. Because 0 times any number is 0, right? Besides you recognizing that thoughts are never idle, salvation requires that you also recognize that every thought you have brings either peace or war, either love or fear. A neutral result is impossible because a neutral thought is impossible. There is such a temptation to dismiss fear thoughts as unimportant, trivial, and not worth bothering about, that it is essential you recognize them all as equally destructive, but equally unreal. We've talked about this before. Just because something's unreal doesn't mean its effects aren't real. The effect of believing a lie, the effect of bigotry can cause real world havoc, even if the original thought was based on illusion. We will practice this idea in many forms before you really understand it. In applying the idea for today, search your mind for a minute. Search your mind for a minute or so with eyes closed. And actively seek not to overlook any little thought that may tend to elude the search. This is quite difficult until you get used to it. You will find that it is still hard for you not to make artificial distinctions. Every thought that occurs to you, regardless of the qualities that you assign to it, is a suitable subject for applying today's idea. In the practice periods, first repeat the idea to yourself. And then, as each one crosses your mind, hold it in awareness while you tell yourself that this thought about blank is not a neutral thought. That thought about fill in the blank is not a neutral thought. As usual, use today's idea whenever you are aware of a particular thought that arouses uneasiness. The following form is suggested for this purpose. This thought about fill in the blank is not a neutral thought because I have no neutral thoughts. 4 or 5 practice periods are recommended. If you find them relatively effortless, if strain is experienced, 3 will be enough. The length of the exercise period should also be reduced if there is discomfort. Again, the Course in Miracles is not trying to induce any kind of strain or upset. And so we're being asked that if we start to feel flooded or overwhelmed with any of these concepts, to just dial it in a little bit, relax, keep it short and sweet. The first time I went through A Course in Miracles, I was really paranoid that, oh no, if I don't do the exact amount at the exact time of the practice periods, then I won't get any benefit. And I will say, the more you follow the Course as it's outlined, the greater the benefit. But any effort, even if it's tiny, tiny little bit, is going to give you a 10-fold result. So please don't give up. If you have a day where you're like, oh, I did the exercise in the morning, but I didn't do it, I didn't remember to do it the rest of the day, you're still getting a positive effect from the work you did in the morning, even if the rest of the day it spaced your mind. However, the more consistent you are, the better the result. And what I found especially helpful is to sit with the thought for a few minutes in stillness and really ask Spirit to bring a personalized, customized, deeper understanding of it for me, for my life, where I could apply it in my own life. I really like this lesson. I have no neutral thoughts. Because it's a game changer. Because what we prepare for is what we receive. If we're sitting here having warlike thoughts and, oh, I hate these people and they're so awful, and you're going to create that in the external world, that hell-like reality. And the Course is trying to help free you from that and free you from the delusion that you can sit here and have these negative, hateful thoughts with no consequence. It will be reflected into the external world. So will love. So will kindness. So will thoughts of grace and compassion. That will also be reflected into the external world. And what the Course is trying to do is take away that the past the ego tries to give us of, oh, it's okay to just think a few little hateful thoughts. It's okay to just sit there and trash on people in your mind. And it's okay to think about how awful those people are and how much better you are. It's not a big deal. It's a neutral thought. No, it's not. There are two frequencies: love and fear, peace and war. And you get to choose on a moment-by-moment basis which frequency you will exist in. And the goal is to get to the point where you firmly, unshakably exist in love, in compassion, in peace. Not just for the world's benefit, but as much as for anyone else, for yourself. Because that's heaven. And I also love how this lesson says, look, you're going to get there. We're just going to start with no neutral thoughts, just accepting that. You don't have to fix that right now. We're just becoming aware of it. That's it. The Course isn't asking you to change that at this time. It's just asking you to become gently, comfortably aware of that reality. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you tomorrow for lesson 17.